Hello, my name is Bonus and welcome to my Abaddon jungling guide. Today I will show you a really weird and really fast way to jungle Abaddon where I go for some crazy suiciding. If you want to go directly to where I jungle Abaddon on Radiant, you can click on the link in the description. So let me just show you first how I do the jungling with the suicide, and then afterwards I'll talk about why I think suiciding is so good with Abaddon. By then I will also do a dual screen later in this video and compare this jungling with and without the suicide, so you guys can see exactly what I mean when I say suiciding is in fact better than using the courier constantly to fly out all the region you would otherwise need. So to begin with, you do the choke point jungling where you cut down this one tree here with your IT, and then you force the creeps into a bottleneck so only one of the creeps can hit you at a time. If you cannot kill the camp before the 1 minute mark, then you should pull the last creep along the new camp to spawn. If you pull in this direction, you can pull the last creep really late at 58 like I'm doing here for example. As you can see, I skill Curse of Avernus on level 1, and my starting items are IT and Tangos. I am gonna suicide pretty soon, so why would I need Tangos? Well, after many games of Abaddon jungling, I learned that the Tangos to begin with are really useful, so you can control exactly when and where you want to do the suicide. So you should skill him like this, so you have your shield max at level 7. High levels in the Aphotic Shield is very good in the early to mid game. So you see here right now I'm spending all my mana, I'm setting up for the suicide that I'm gonna do here on the hard camp. So what you should do here is buy a TP scroll as soon as you can afford it. And then of course you wanna buy whatever stuff you have money for right before you die. I actually do it a little bit wrong here. I should have gotten the TP scroll first, because then it's easier to calculate what other items you can get before you die. You should aim to get these items. You can't get all of them before you die, but just get whatever fits with the amount of gold you have left. I actually screw up the suicide a little bit here. I figured I could like kill the ranged satyr and then buy like a branch or fairy fire before I died. But I'm an idiot, so I just wasted 63 gold without buying anything. But never mind that, I'm still level 3 in less than 2 minutes. I have my ring, I have my stout shield, my TP scroll, so I'm happy. Here, right after your suicide, you should check your lanes to see if you should TP in to help one of your lanes right now. You do have that option. You already got some really fast levels and you have a TP scroll, so keep that in mind. But if you do want to go back to the jungle, then you put on your Aphotic Shield in the base and then you TP out to whichever of the tier 2 towers are closest to the camp you want to farm next. If you want to farm the hard camp, you TP to the mid tier 2 tower. If you want to farm the medium camp, you TP to the top tier 2 tower. Remember to put on your shield in the base before you TP out, because it's like a free shield, it will save you mana, and mana is a resource that's very important when you jungle Abaddon. I think if this Abaddon jungling is tried out by enough people, it's gonna be like rings in the water, and ultimately Abaddon might become a mainstream jungler now. Well, alright, maybe that's pushing it a little bit, but in my opinion Abaddon is certainly good enough, strong enough, fast enough to be an actual jungle hero now. So if you've been paying close attention to my replay here, you'll see that I'm not jungling flawlessly at all. I'm wasting a little bit of time here and there, and still I'm gonna get my level 6 at 5 minutes 22 seconds, so it's definitely good and this can definitely be done faster. In terms of items, you should upgrade your ring of protection into a Basilius, and then you should get some more Tangos if you need it. And also, this is important, as soon as you have the base items here, like IT, Stout Shield, Basilius, you should buy a Mango and a TP scroll as soon as possible. The whole idea is that you are able to pop your Mango and TP in and shield your ally the moment one of your teammates get tower dived or there's a gank happening close to one of your towers. And a level 2 or level 3 Aphotic Shield is basically like a grave in the early game. It's like you could just TP in, remove the stun, and then you can turn the gank completely. So get a second TP scroll and a Mango as soon as you can afford it. This is, I think, the advantage you have by running a jungling Abaddon. Then after the Basilius you should get boots of speed, and then from here you can just get whatever you normally prefer to get on Abaddon. You can disassemble your Basilius and get a soul ring, you can use the Basilius to get a Vladimir's offering. Personally I really like the face boots, Vlad's and Scepter, but you can of course also go for like Guardian Greaves 4-staff. Aetherlens works quite well with Abaddon actually, because the cast range of Aphotic Shield is terrible and support Abaddon is all about getting that shield off. The Scepter I think is really good on Abaddon, so you can just stand there next to one of your other core heroes, making them pretty much impossible to kill. You could also make Dota happy and just go full YOLO carry with like Face Boots, Sanctum Yasha, Mjolnir, Basher or something like that. My old pop build on Abaddon is actually Face Boots, Mask of Madness, Refresher, Mjolnir, BKB and then something like Abyssal or maybe even some Rapiers. This is really fun to play with the 2 BKBs, the 2 ultimates, and then you just run at people full retard with the Mask of Madness. But this is of course a really bad build, so in all seriousness, just get the Face Boost Flat Scepter. It's a really strong build right now I think. So there you have it, level 6 at 522, and this can definitely be done faster. I think my fastest time is like 5 minutes flat, and this is without taking the bounty rune. So now let me show you Abaddon jungling where you suicide compared to when you don't suicide. So here on the left you can see a replay where I jungle pretty flawlessly, but I do not go for the suicide. Instead I just use the courier a lot to get all the regen I need to sustain myself. And on the right side here you can see the replay you just watched where I go for the tactical suicide, so you can see what I mean when I say that the suicide really does help you out when you're jungling Abaddon. Because if you don't suicide, which is the replay here to the left, then you need the courier to get the stout shield as well as a bunch of regen, and also you will see that I'm really struggling to uphold my HP. And these are two things you really don't want to have happen when you're jungling. You don't want to use the courier constantly because obviously your mid lane needs the courier, especially in the first few minutes of the game. And you don't want to be low on HP because that makes you vulnerable to incoming ganks. So the funny thing is, before I thought of this suicide tactic, I had this jungling guide planned out in my head where I was going to use this replay on the left, and I was gonna be all like, alright, well, this is like sort of good, it's not great, it's like ogre, it's like not strong enough to see play, but it's still good. But then I got this idea to do the tactical suicide, and that just completely tipped the scale for me. It solved so many of the problems I had with this jungling. So allow me to share my train of thought on this tactical suicide for a moment, because I'm sure some of you guys are like, suiciding to creeps? Really? Boneless, what the hell are you doing? And I see where you're coming from. I mean, suicide when you're like close to death to deny the enemy from getting the gold for killing you, that's one thing, that's pretty normal. Or even if you're like way across the map and you want to get back to the base faster, then you can suicide to travel faster, also pretty normal. But what I'm doing here with Abaddon is suiciding to the hard camp in every single game around level 2 or level 3. And the reason I do the suicide in every single game is because I believe it makes me level faster. It sounds ridiculous, I know, but for some reason this just works for me. So I've played like 50 Abaddon lobby games both with and without the suicide, and it feels like suiciding is just better and faster. So let's examine this for a moment. A TP scroll is a lot cheaper than a mango plus tango. You don't need to use the courier to get your stout shield and all that other stuff you would otherwise need. And like I said, I believe the suicide on level 2 or level 3 and then TP back to the jungle will in fact increase your farming speed. And this is really interesting to me because this is like a new way of thinking about jungling. So this suicide tactic is probably also good on a few other heroes who also need to use the IT. Let me know in the comments if you think of a nice way you can do this suicide tactic on another hero than Abaddon. So if I was drafting Abaddon in a captain's mode game, I would look at my team's lineup and the enemy team's lineup and then make a judgment call right then and there. Do you need Abaddon to help out in one of the lanes? Do you want to run one of these strong dual offlanes with Abaddon? And even so, do you want to jungle for the first few minutes to get your level 3 and then suicide and then TP back to the offlane? If one of your carries is getting shut down completely and not getting any XP on the lane, then of course you should be there to help out. But the thing I like about Abaddon jungling is that the hero is not such a good babysitter. He is a good counter to Mirana, but that's pretty much it. He is like a melee, he can't really harass anybody. But to be fair, when you do pick Abaddon, you usually put him in one of these dual offlane combo lanes where Abaddon can be really good, like Abaddon Ogre has been quite popular lately. Abaddon Weaver, Abaddon Doom is quite good. Abaddon Centaur is not that amazing actually, but it's a lot of fun, like Aphotic Shield, Double Edge, good times. Alright, so Abaddon is good in these kinds of combo lanes and he's usually run this way. But this also means that this is what they will expect you to do. They will see you pick Abaddon and they'll be all like, alright, brace yourself guys, we got Abaddon Ogre offlane incoming. So this is where you can trick them by putting your Abaddon in the jungle and then last picking something else, which is perhaps not an Ogre. So all of a sudden they have this epic defensive tri-lane set up specifically to deal with the Ogre Abaddon. And then when the game starts they're like, yo, what the hell? Where is this Abaddon we were supposed to shut down? And then they'll be really sad, so they'll begin to pull and shit, and then you come out of the jungle with a really fast level 6 on your Abaddon. Because you will get your level 6 really fast, and level 3 and level 4 Aphotic Shield is very good in the early to mid game. Pretty much the whole reason you pick Abaddon is because of two things. One, you want to get fast levels in the Aphotic Shield because the shield is a really good powerful tool to have in the mid game, so you can run like these aggressive ganking lineups with like Night Stalker for example. If you jungle you will become level 7 pretty fast. And two, you want Abaddon to get this Aghanim Scepter up and running, so like I was talking about earlier, if you go for like the IT Phase Boost Flat Scepter, then you will have the Scepter at a reasonable timing, about the same timing as if you were the offlane farmer I would think. So in pop games this is gonna be a lot of fun I think, definitely good. In pro games, I'm not so sure if Abaddon jungling will see play. I mean, probably not, but I would like to see a pro team try this out. Lately, a lot of pro teams have been running offlane Abaddon specifically to get this scepter up and running as fast as possible, and Abaddon jungle is just another way to do that. So who knows, I mean, it's definitely good enough to be tried out in pro games, I think. Except there is one thing though. If this should grow to be a popular thing, the enemy will see this message on their screens like Abaddon has suicided to the jungle, and then they'll know exactly what you're doing. They would probably realize this anyway, but you know, this is just a small thing you have to keep in mind. I mean, if they should realize exactly what you're doing, then they might pick like a bounty hunter who's just gonna stand right there and wait until you suicide, and then boom, he last hits you and gets the first blood. But you know, even if they should pick a bounty hunter, you can just lane your Abaddon like you normally would, and then you have Aphotic Shield to take off the track for the rest of the game. It's not that bad. So I think this Abaddon jungling is actually good. This is not like an ogre jungling. This is something I could actually see working in high level games. Ogre jungling should not be run in high level games, let's be honest. It's not fast enough, and ogre can just get more done in the lane than it can in the jungle. It is kind of ironic, I think, that I have all these really good jungle guides on my channel where I jungle like faster than you have ever seen before on heroes like Tinker, Cuddle and Necro. Like guides I really put my heart into. And then I try out this ogre to test if ogre could actually be a good jungler now, which as it turns out is not really the case. And I'm like, well, alright, at least I tried it out and it's not really great, but maybe people will still find this interesting, so they could see for themselves how good or bad ogre is as a jungler. So I consider my ogre jungling guide to be maybe the weakest of all the jungle guides I've ever made. And of course it is the ogre jungling guide that just goes crazy with 100,000 views, and it's just funny how things turn out. But anyway, to wrap up Abaddon here, I just want to say Abaddon jungling is doable, it works surprisingly well. I did not expect Abaddon to be this good of a jungler, honestly. And I think a lot of the reason why this works is because of the suicide. I got this feeling that a lot of people won't like the suicide aspect of this, and they'll just discard it as bad because suiciding in the jungle is like not the normal thing to do. But I am hopeful. I promise if you study this replay and do exactly what I do, then this will work for you. It's been very consistent in all the games I've done it. So if you love to play Abaddon, you should totally learn this, so you have this option available to you in the back of your head. But I will stress it just one more time. If you do jungle Abaddon, you must have a TP scroll plus either a mango or a bottle as soon as your economy allows it. So you're always ready to TP in and save one of your allies with the shield when one of your teammates is getting tower dived. I think the fact that you have this option to TP in and counter gank is the reason that you can justify running Abaddon as a greedy jungler like this. So with Abaddon jungle you can't really gank anything yourself, which suck, so you really need a mango so you can at least protect one of your other lanes in case they tower dive your teammates. So guys, what do you think about all this? Do you think Abaddon could be a jungler now? Let me know in the comments. Thanks for watching and thank you all so much for your support. See you guys.